large numbers of people live together, each of us has to conform with a set of rules and regulations to the common good. Although we have a great deal of personal freedom, there are many ways in which we must order our behavior so that the greatest degree of convenience is enjoyed by all. We work regular hours, agreed between employer and employed. We can't work when and where we like. Because the roads are for the use of all, there are rules to be obeyed. Otherwise, there'd be chaos. We obey signs, both mechanical and human. And the more alert we are to these instructions, the less likely are accidents to occur. In civilian life, it's left to each of us to realize our responsibilities and carry out the rules according to our individual sense of the common good. But when you move from civilian life into one of the three great fighting services of Britain, you must at once come under the discipline essential to any organized body of men. The discipline of the Royal Air Force, like that of the other services, extends to every man from the top to the bottom. Here is the delegation of authority. At the head is His Majesty the King. Supreme command is vested in the Air Council. This command is delegated by the Air Council to commands and groups at home and abroad. Each command is under the authority of an Air Officer Commander-in-Chief, who in turn is responsible for a number of groups. Here from the group, authority passes to the commanding officer in command of the station. He delegates some of his authority to the squadron commander. This in turn passes to the flight commander, and from the flight commander to the flight sergeant, and from him to the corporal, and from him possibly to you who were only a short time ago a civilian. Now you're destined for a different kind of life, and one that demands your utmost effort in discipline and enthusiasm. Whatever your ultimate rank, and whatever your ultimate job in the RAF, it's your duty to train your mind and your body to react immediately to instructions. Until you've achieved this, you will not be much good to the service. No longer a civilian, you have sworn your allegiance to the King and sworn to obey the commands of your superior officers. Now here is a flight sergeant. You can recognize his authority by the stripes on his sleeve. He gives the command, "Fall in," and the men obey. A part of your training is devoted to drill. It's important for you to know why you must go through with this drill, which, as you may say, has little to do with flying. But this drill is training your mind to act quickly, to respond to discipline, and to recognize authority when you see it. He gives another command, "Eyes right," because here is the flight sergeant's superior officer. Both he and his men recognize the authority of the officer. You recognize the flight sergeant by his rank. You recognize the officer by his holding the King's commission. You salute an officer, but you do not salute a non-commissioned officer, and yet you still obey his command. Drill is the training of the mind rather than the training of the body. The aim is to teach you to respond quickly to an order. Instinctively, you obey an order. Instinctively, you wait for the next. The quick and orderly movements of numbers of men can be obtained only by such immediate response to commands. If these men were not disciplined, chaos would follow the word of command. It would be impossible to control such an undisciplined body of men. Now here is a group moving in perfect formation. Each man knows what he is doing in relation to the others. The group can be moved quickly from place to place. But in this group, all apparently anxious to get to the same place, has no order or discipline, and will consequently take much longer to get where it wants. Discipline means more freedom of movement, more individual comfort, and more speed. From discipline comes the vital factor of good organization, what we call the team spirit, the art of collaboration of a number of people working together. Most of you have played games at some time, and you know how in football, for example, a side playing in cooperation will always make rings round a side playing as individuals. If your side is playing together as a team, each man knows what the other is doing, relies on him to do it, and such a side must be stronger than one made up of individuals, each relying only on himself. This teamwork, so important in games, is equally essential in the service. Without it, we should be disorganized and ineffective. And so discipline and teamwork are two essentials which you've all got to give. In civilian life, some of you may have continued to play games and take exercise, but many of you may not have had the time or the opportunity to keep yourselves in good physical condition. A part of your training will therefore be given to getting you fit and healthy and keeping you like that. This exercise of your muscles will also help to train your mind to accept orders and to respond to commands. Take a look at yourself now. Measure your muscles and your chest. And then take another look at yourself in 6 weeks' time, and you'll see what this training has done for you. This is a state of fitness that all of you will achieve soon if you cooperate with alertness and enthusiasm. Drill and physical training are going to give you that efficiency and keenness with which all your work must be carried out. There's no use for any casual approach to things when the safety of others and maybe yourself depend upon efficiency. Unless you're on your toes the whole time, you may easily overlook some vital detail resulting in serious injury and perhaps death to those who have placed their trust in your work. Remember that these aircraft are the product of hours of labor by skilled workmen. All over Britain and the Empire, thousands of men and women are working long hours to build them. Their care is your trust. They've been delivered to you in perfect condition, and it is your efficiency and your enthusiasm which will keep them like it. It's the discipline that comes from your drill and physical training that will give you this efficiency in your later work. It doesn't matter whatever course you're destined to go through, the initial drill is the foundation on which your efficiency is built. Here is something with which you will soon be familiar. A bombing squadron preparing for its takeoff. Many important things must be attended to before these aircraft can safely leave the ground. Upon the efficiency of each operation will depend the safety of the crew and the success of the flight. Each man has his own special duty to perform. He knows exactly what he must do. He does it without hesitation and without question, but with speed and reliability. Discipline and keenness is giving efficiency to the work. Every preparation is finished, everything is ready. The value of discipline and the value of instant response to orders become even greater when you are in the air. A second's hesitation in carrying out an order, and you may cause the most serious disaster. An emergency may arise. Only instant obedience can avert mishap. You may be hundreds of miles from your home aerodrome, or you may be close to it. When a pilot finds that something has gone wrong, he must decide instantly whether a forced landing is necessary. Something has gone wrong here. He knows his instructions, and because his mind is disciplined, he will carry them out immediately. He knows, too, that each member of his crew awaits his orders because he is in command. They depend on him. The pilot must decide at once. This is a moment for which his training and discipline have prepared him. He knows that to save his aircraft and his crew, a forced landing cannot be avoided. He orders his wireless operator to signal back to the aerodrome that he is going to make a forced landing. The message is received. Discipline has taught all concerned the necessity for acting with coolness and efficiency under all circumstances, especially such an emergency as this. One engine not working properly, the forced landing is successfully made. But if the crew of the aircraft had not been disciplined, confusion, panic, and even disaster might have occurred. Both aircraft and crew are safe. The pilot in command knew his orders, and the crew obeyed too. Discipline has triumphed. Keep in your mind that you may soon be carrying out flights such as those with which this film ends. And if you are not flying yourself, you may be one of those upon whose efficiency and discipline depends the reputation of the Royal Air Force. And so in the weeks and months to come, when you have completed your training and are a pilot or a gunner or an observer or a fitter, you will know that your efficiency and your courage will be based on your fulfillment of discipline.